Okay, as I promised, we're gonna go look at quarterly Bitcoin returns. And now I'm not gonna look at Ethereum. I'm just gonna cover Bitcoin because the video is gonna get too long. We're gonna look at the quarterly. We're gonna look at not the daily, weekly and monthly. Let's actually just look at monthly and quarterly because weekly is not that important. You're not going to get anything important out of it, okay? So you do not, we just want to, by looking at this, it's going to show us that which quarters were the most bullish and which quarters were the most bearish. And now let's start from our quarterly for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin gave this much return for each quarter. So quarter one, you guys see that is shown from 2013. It's going to show the average and the median. If you do not know what median is, for example, when you have number 1 up to 10, number 5 is the median, because you're counting exactly the same amount of number from the right side and the left side. So I think 5 would be the middle. I'm not sure exactly, but what the median is that, okay? So we're gonna look at 2024 quarter one. Beautiful, 68%, and it's on average, not average, is that amount that was given. But we had a lot of ups and downs, but when we started and we finished it, that 68% shows that, right? Then quarter two, you guys see that we did not have a really good summer. We had a very boring summer, and if we go back up to this area, we started our summer from April, right? So April, June, July, right? I hope I'm not wrong. So from 4th month, you start up to end of July, right? So we were going just sideways, but when we started the summer, when we finished the summer, we had this much return. Not return. That was negative almost 12%. Now, we have not started our quarter three, as you guys see, that bullish. But when we want to, let's just get into the monthly more. You guys see that September shows the famous September month, right? So September has not been a really our favorite month for crypto, right? But you look at the October and look at November and December. What we have ahead of us, guys, we can still be hopeful for October and maybe for November. Supposedly November should be green and December should be green as well in average, but we do not know, guys. We just do not know. We might get another red like we did in these November, October, and December, okay? But we do not want to see it averagely. You guys see that we had 2013, these 3 months, and then we had these 3 months, and we had all these years, 3 years in a row, we had 3 months of bullishness and good returns, pretty good returns, okay? But then we went to 18-19 hour bear markets. Then we started out, this was 2021 was our bullish year, our end of the bullishness for Bitcoin before getting into bear market. We had these 2 red ones for, and I'm not talking about October. I'm mostly expecting to be green again. But you guys see that if you want to average, you look at and give it a probability that we're gonna end up having red, we can get a red one, guys. Okay, so don't be surprised if we get another red for October too. We're gonna probably have another red month next month, okay? Because averagely, if we just give it a little bit of probability that every several greens we have, we're gonna have a red one. We can end up having this as red, okay? But if you want to give November a little bit of bullishness, because we've been having a lot of red, I'm expecting a little bit of green to show up for these 2 months. So what does it tell us? It's telling us that we might have still a little bit of downside or sideways for a month, for 1 month at least. After September, we get into October, we finish it as red. It can be 2%, it can be 5%, we do not know. From the start to finish of it, we need to see where we started when we finished. So that would tell us that we're gonna probably go sideways or go a little bit down and then start going higher. And honestly, the more this sideways goes, guys, the more I will be hopeful, although this line is slowly going higher and we have less distance to get to this white line, but because the market is growing, the more money is going to get into markets. So smallest moves to the downside is going to pour billions of dollars into the market. Okay, so do not underestimate that if I put a ruler from here, let's say just we're going to go up to almost 7%. From here to here, guys, it will give us negative 37%. But that would give us 2.57% in the USDT. Okay, just ignore the 37% I mentioned. Just go with negative 2.5% from almost 7 down to almost 4.38. Okay, so that would still give us a lot of return for our holdings. That will be the last hope that I will have for this market, for this bull market, before we get into the next bear market. And I just want to touch on this very quickly, that previously when we came below this 40 region, when we got into the fear for Bitcoin, for the general market, you guys see that we are back into it. And when we were in this area, we had sideways and finally we got out of it. But if you want to look at when we started taking off, we were in that area for almost from 8/17 of 23 up to almost 9. So more than a month and a half. Actually, if we go back down, because we went to inside yellow and went back to orange, so up to almost more than 2 months, we were just going inside this fear area that we finally got up. We went up to 50s. You guys just follow that number in there. We went to the neutral area and we went to greed and extreme greed. And every time we go to extreme greed, we end up having crash. Okay. And if you want to go back and look at the chart, we were around this greed, the fear and greed index being lower than 40. We go back to 8.5 or 8.17 or something like that. Let's go back to that area. There we go. We were around this area where we had this sideways before breaking up. And if I want to remind you guys how I was back then, about what I was looking at this area to be a rejection, very strong rejection area, and we were gonna go back down to touch $12,000, but obviously I was wrong. So we broke above, we started going all the way up here, and around March 2024, 14th of March, we had our all-time high for Bitcoin. And if you follow that was around, there we go, right here, the top for Bitcoin. And after that, we started having a little bit less number for greed index, the fear and greed index, and we kept going lower until we are back down to this area that we were long time ago, almost a year ago. We were on this area. Right? So now that shows that we can bottom around this area, right? So even if we go back down to around $49,000-$50,000 area, as I have mentioned, I am still strongly believing, unless something globally and crazy happens, okay, I am still believing that this red candle, where I called this bottom for $49,000, if I move it right on top of it, you guys see that we had that exact takeoff for Bitcoin from here. I'm going to delete this. You guys see that this area, guys, just pay attention every time something like this happens, or we have a drop, just consider opposite of this. Every time we have a pullback to this area, because we had a bunch of greens, red candle and green, we have this area as a very huge support. And even if we go back to it after a long time, I was waiting for another support around this area, and you guys see that happen. And you guys see that for a couple of days, we are just slowly rising. And around this area, I'm still expecting around 55,000, before 56, maximum of $56,000 would be another top for Bitcoin before going lower. And this area should still hold Bitcoin. And as I said, unless we just go see something crazy, we might still go lower, hit $47,000 area, which will be almost on top of this, that where we had our ETF news. And we started pulling back. This area and this area should be the bottom for Bitcoin before taking off. In my next video, if you guys paid attention, I was mentioning in the previous video that we need to see how much of the money will go to Bitcoin if we go touch that USDT dominance's white line. Let me show you. Let me get rid of this. In the next video, I'm gonna explain if we go back and touch this area, what should happen and how much of this money from USDT should pour into Bitcoin, and how much of it would be the portion of altcoins. And we're going to talk about different scenarios, and I'm going to ask your opinion to comment what you think about that. Okay, so stay tuned on that. Now jump into conclusion, and please take a moment to like the video and make sure you will watch these videos. These are valuable videos, guys. Valuable videos. So I talked about alt season. I have given you smallest. You see, I exactly called out this area we're gonna be rejected. We close the weekly candle as red below the $60,000. We might get into 62 maximum, $60 to $62 maximum, $1,000 maximum, and we're gonna start going back down. I called it again. Okay, I talked about the September, how we started it. Again, called that too. So watch this video if you wanna exactly understand what happened in the previous bull market, how USDT works with Bitcoin and other crypto. Make sure to watch those, and please share this video with your friends. Thank you so much for the likes and your support, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.